kids of Elm Street don't know it yet, but something is coming to get them.
There's something out there, isn't there?
You just see cuts happening.
What did that, Lieutenant?
I don't know.
Tina! What's the coroner got to say? He's in the jar and puking since he saw it.
They're gonna kill me for sure.
Did you do it?
There was somebody else there.
He was locked in a room with a girl who went in alive and came out in a rubber bag.
No one knows where it came from or who it will visit next.
Nancy? There's something wrong with you. You're imagining things.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you believe in the boogeyman?
No.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
That's right. We're back in 1984. Let's grab a cup of coffee and get into this Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Let's get at it.
Yo, we rolling deep, let's dive into the fray. Hit that play button, we review every bite. From horror flicks that give you chills at night to games that thrill, yeah, we get it right. Remember that, step back, hold tight. We'll dissect every scare, keep the vibe right. Remember that, we're here to expose the thrills, the chills where the dark wind blows. From pixels on screens to the sound that glows. Join us forever, that's how the story goes.
All right, guys. Nightmare on Elm Street is a 1984 American supernatural slasher film written and directed by Wes Craven and produced by Robert Shea. And it's the first installment of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And the film's plot concerns a group of teenagers who are targeted by Krueger, an undead child killer who murders teenagers through their dreams as retribution against their parents who burned him alive. Brent, tell us how this movie done at the theaters, bro.
All right. So the budget for this movie was $1.1 million. So it was a pretty low budget film. But it grossed over it was $57.1 million box office. So it did really well.
Awesome, man. Daniel, run down those actors for us.
Sweet, man. Okay, so I'm going to do Cade's job tonight. Hopefully I can do him justice, but Big Cade's out. And the lead character, played Nancy Thompson, is Heather Langenkamp, and she was one of my crushes when I was growing up. And then you got Johnny Depp, which ended up being in the stratosphere as far as like popularity and stardom. He played
He's
Glenn.
one of my crushes.
Yeah. So he played Glenn, which was Nancy Thompson's boyfriend. Robert Englund played Freddy Krueger. And he ended up being in a bunch of other stuff too. But I'll give you just a quick tidbit on Robert Englund. Whenever he was coming up, he did an interview and he said that he was always kind of like the best friend. He did kind of like the bit parts, supporting actor stuff. And he said that back in 1978, whenever they were filming Halloween, he actually was on set with a buddy of his, and they had drove down from where they were staying, and they actually helped scatter leaves on the set for that film. So Freddy Krueger,
That's cool.
Freddy Krueger ended up helping out in Halloween. I think that's super cool. Then you got Lieutenant Donald Thompson, which is Heather's dad. He's played by John Saxon. You've got Heather's mom, Marge Thompson, which is played by Ronnie Blakely. And then you've got Amanda Weiss, who plays Tina, and Jesu Garcia, which plays Rod. And then you've got a host of supporting actors, but that's like the main people right there. A lot of them went on.
We need to know about.
Oh yeah, a lot of them went on to have some bigger careers. A lot of them appeared in some TV shows and whatnot. Robert Englund and Heather Langenkamp, and of course Johnny Depp. They were your big ones. But yeah, 1984, and I'll give you another little tidbit about what Brent was talking about with the budget. So I watched the documentary, and it was talking about the making of Nightmare on Elm Street back in 1984, and at one point they were in the middle of filming, and they had run out of money to even pay the actors. And so it was a very, very tight, very stressful, very shoestring budget there. So this movie is 100% a miracle movie. And the fact that it did so well is just, man, it really took off, the whole franchise.
Well, think about it, though. How could it not take off? When you talk about, I'll just be straight with you guys. This movie, part one especially, has always been my number one horror movie of all time. And that's because, we've talked about this several times on other podcasts, but like if Jason's chasing you, don't go to summer camp. If Michael's chasing you, don't babysit somebody or something like that, but
right.
no
Don't
matter
live in
what, you gotta
Haddonfield.
go. Yeah, don't go to Haddonfield, but you have to sleep. And
That's
to
right.
me, that terrifies me to think that, something I have to do is going to end up getting me killed. And then you stack on top of that the creepy hat and the glove with the knives on it, man. That is just so unique that it just had to catapult this movie into stardom, because that is as much as I love Michael and as much as I love Jason, Freddy is a very unique character just because of the way he looks alone. Even the stripes on his sweater were put there because it's supposed to induce fear or unnerving or something like that. But like, Freddy's a scary character until they messed him up in the later movies. Part 1 and part 2, this dude's really scary.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
So
Oh,
he was
100%.
So the professor, do you want to take it?
Oh, when it comes to the cast, two cool things there. One, Johnny Depp. This was his first movie, and when he got there to interview for the role, he was so nervous. And when he shook the director's hand, Johnny Depp's hand was sweaty. And that's what got him the role, because he wanted him to seem like a genuine high school kid. And this dude came in just kind of nervous, hand is sweating, doing his thing. So that's actually how he got the role, was just his natural, just being nervous about it.
That's pretty
And
cool.
Robert Englund, he got the part. They gave him the glove and said, this is what your character is going to be based on, with your movements and how you act as this character. So when he put the glove on, it was actual metal, so it had some weight to it. And when they interviewed him, they wanted him to just walk down this alleyway, and that was his whole interview. Well, he just let his shoulder drop with the weight of the glove, and he just kind of dragged the glove along the wall, and they instantly said, "You're hired." It was just the way he made the glove have that weight, like it's gonna hurt you when he gets to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, no doubt.
that's awesome.
So, guys, this movie starts out, in my opinion, one of the most iconic scenes in film history is with him building this iconic glove. I'll be honest, I can remember as a young child the previews, the trailer of this movie coming on TV. And I remember looking at my mom and I said, boy, that's going to be good. We've got to go see that. And, as a young child, I would get a glove and tape nails to the fingers of it. And I would run around and tell people, I'd run up to the road and cars would drive by and I would go, no running in the hallway and stuff like that to cars driving by. But, so I was infatuated with this movie from a young age. And the one of the things that always stands out to me is that scene when the movie starts with he's building his glove, man. That lets you look into the mind of this character of Freddy Krueger and what he's thinking about and the thoughts in his head as he's building this glove to torture, these kids and stuff like that. But then this scene flips into the first nightmare of Tina, and he's chasing her, down some alleys and stuff. And just some of the creepy stuff that they thought of in this scene where he's walking down the alley and his arms get like 20 feet long and he's scraping the glove on the wall and stuff like that. And then you have a lamb run out, just off the wall stuff, man. But it works. It really works. And then he looks at her and chops off 2 of his fingers, just stuff like that just was creepy to me, man. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, so getting into the original dream that she had, she is in the boiler room, the old factory, and she's running around, and she keeps hearing the glove getting scraped on the pipes and whatnot, and it's got that iconic, high pitched squeal. And then you already mentioned it. She sees a lamb, right?
Yeah,
Now,
where did that come from? I'm just trying to think about.
well, so I'm sitting there and
Tell me there's
I'm
a
sitting
story
here-
behind that.
I mean,
not
there
that I
has to
know
be.
of. Not that I know of, unless
God,
the professor.
I thought you was just about to drop. I thought you was just about to drop some knowledge on me.
No,
man.
no,
okay,
man. I was
if I had
was
to
about
guess-
to I was
if I
about
had to guess,
to pose the question.
All right, pose it.
So the question was,
I got it.
oh,
Yeah,
do
see,
you
the
have?
professor got it.
See,
I do.
I was going to
Well,
ask
here we go.
what because that plays into the symbolism. See, I was
Yes.
going to ask what purpose does the lamb have on the whole movie? That's what I was going to ask.
Well, somebody
So-
fill me in.
Sorry, my dogs are barking.
That's cool. That's
Um,
cool. Drop some knowledge on us. Come on, Professor.
I'm looking at my notes here. Sorry, it's been 2 weeks since
No,
I
you're
wrote
fine.
these. But basically, what the movie symbolizes is fear and subconscious anger. So the subconscious anger would actually be the boiler room that it keeps showing, which is his anger and honestly Nancy's anger, her kind of boiling because she's this really good kid, but as the movie goes on, she just gets out of her head with like anger and no one believes her and all of this.
Right.
So that's what the boiler room represents. The one of the symbols in this movie is the lost innocence because Freddy was a child killer before what happens to him, which we'll get into later on in this show. But with him being a child killer, he steals innocence. And one of the most innocent things to do is to lay down and go to sleep, and he's stealing that from you too. It's also kind of a coming of age movie because you got these kids in high school just trying to do their normal thing and they can't. So the lamb is representing their innocence just basically about to be taken away from them.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense.
All right, so
Makes
I'll
sense.
tell you my take on it, and I agree with everything that you said. I had thought about that for years, and I never really looked up anything on it. But my take on it was, she sees the lamb, and all of these kids, just like what you were saying, it represents innocence, and so it's almost like the kids are being sacrificed like a sacrificial lamb. And so that's kind of where I was going with it. So I was off to an extent. You explained it a whole lot better, Bryson. But that's kind of what my take was. Brent, weigh in on this, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking the same thing. I know biblically, lambs are innocence, purity, and sacrificial, and so I thought it would have something to do with that. But as far as the opening scene, I have to agree with Quirky. Number one, this is one of the most iconic opening scenes in horror movie history. The boiler room, very creepy. The music, the scratching of the steel knives against the walls and the pipes. But one thing I was going to say about Freddy Krueger is so in this scene, this is the first time you see Freddy, and so I heard that the director he wanted to obviously all the slashers from the 80s are loosely based off of Halloween, but he wanted his slasher to actually have personality, and he wanted him to be excited and happy about killing. So you can't see Michael Myers' expression. He's famously expressionless, so he doesn't have an expression. So you can't tell if he's excited or not. He probably is indifferent to killing people, whereas Freddy is happy about these killings. So that just adds a different type of terror to this movie. And also, what this scene does very well is it is the first time that you figure out that, hey, this is a dream. And because she gets scratched on her stomach at the end of the scene, you know what happens in the dream carries over to the real world. And so, like Corky said, there's no way to escape dreaming. And so there's really no way to escape Freddy. And so the scene just kind of automatically puts you in this place of fear of you cannot escape this guy. And so that's a great opening of this movie.
I agree. I love this opening.
Yeah, no doubt. So, is it the next day when they're walking in school and they start talking to each other about, the dreams they've been having, and Rod's like, I dream too, and all this other good stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think it flips over, and that's when they're at Tina's house the next night, and they're all out in the corner, or Johnny Depp basically has to call his mom and tell her, "Hey, I'm sleeping over at so and so's house," and he has that boom box that plays all the noises and stuff like that. But then they start hearing the scraping and stuff like that. They go outside to check on it, and that's Rod out there, sliding in to, mess up everybody's party and all that good stuff. Keep in mind, these are teenagers acting like this. They're supposed to be in high school and all that good stuff. But Rod and Tina, they run off to the bedroom to do their thing, leaving Johnny Depp on the couch, having a bad night. But something happens when Rod and Tina get done and they fall asleep, man. Old Fred comes in and handles his business. Rod wakes up, Tina's sliding across the ceiling, getting killed, getting murdered, and to everybody else, it looks like he done it. But now flipping back to that death scene, talk about an iconic death scene. Now that I think they had the room that spun and stuff like that. That's one of the most brutal death scenes you'll ever see, man. Because
100%,
picture
yes.
yourself laying there. Picture yourself laying there. Your girlfriend's getting drugged across the ceiling, and you can't see what's doing it, man. Talk about terrifying, man.
Yeah. Well,
you can't do anything.
When I first watched this, honestly, thinking back, I probably watched part 2 before I saw the original. And I believe the reason for that was that's just what my mom rented for the night. I don't know. But I seem to remember watching this movie sometime around 86 or 87. And when I saw Tina getting drugged up the side of the wall, and then she gets drugged across the ceiling, and then all of a sudden there's like 4 slashes that start coming through her. At the time, that was one of the most brutal death scenes that I had ever seen. That was pretty graphic. That was shocking.
It really was.
I had seen Friday the 13th killings and stuff, but for some reason this was just on a whole new level. And that hit kind of heavy for me. Of course, now I was watching this at way too young of an age anyway. I was probably only about 9 or 10 when I was watching this, probably even younger than that. But
I say I was younger than that.
It was, if I saw this in 87, I'd have been 8 years old. Well, that was pretty heavy for a death scene for me. And I had seen a lot of stuff at that point. Bryson, when did you see this movie? What'd you think about this particular scene?
I got into horror movies mainly in high school. Like I watched some with my best friend growing up, and then once we kind of hit high school and we started really getting into horror movies, that's about what we watched all the time. So going back, even though I'm only 31, going back to high school just seems like a long time. So I couldn't really pinpoint when, but I knew once I really started getting into horror, I wanted to start with some of the heavy hitters, like the big names, and then just kind of find my way from there as a fan.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, so they hear all this commotion. Now, is this the scene where before all this has happened, Nancy's laying in there in bed? At what point did the whole elastic scene happen? Was that here or was that at Nancy's house?
That was it.
That was here.
That was here,
I think.
and that was during
this
Tina's
was the same
dream.
night, right?
Yep, it was during Tina's dream. Rod and Tina was in Tina's mom's room, and Nancy was asleep in Tina's room, and then Johnny Depp was down there on the couch. And so while Tina was having her dream, Freddy actually come out of the wall, kind of like this elastic thing.
Yeah.
And
You're talking about cool, man. That looked
that
awesome,
was,
dude.
that was with Nancy.
It's so much when they remade it back. What year did they do the remake? It was CGI?
Like 2010.
Dude, it looked like garbage so much. Freaking practical effects look so much better than
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on the remake.
I honestly don't understand why movies have went away from practical effects. They look so good. Like that's just it's a charm, to horror movies.
It is a lost art.
AI. The problem with AI, and I know this is getting off topic, so I'll be quick. The problem with AI in horror movies is that it may look good now, but a year from now it's going to look stupid. With practical effects, you already I don't know. There's just something kind of nostalgic and a charm with it. So just go back to practical effects. Let's become directors. Let's direct
especially
a movie.
for horror movies, man.
I hear what you're saying, man. I'm 100% practical effects. Give me practical effects any day over AI.
Yeah, no doubt. So where we at now in the movies? Tina's dead. Nancy's had the elastic Freddy come over the top of her.
Yeah.
So I guess we're back to the next day where her dad showed.
Everybody thinks. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was going to say everyone thinks that is the boyfriend.
Well, it's because he fled the scene. So Johnny Depp,
and also he was in the room.
He was in the room. We got to set this up right. She gets killed very brutally, and he's the only other person in the room, in a locked room from the inside.
And we know he has a switchblade.
That's right. So Johnny Depp busts through the door, and Rod has already fled the scene. We already know that Rod is kind of the troublemaker. He kind of runs with the bad crowd. He has a switchblade. He's already picked a fight with Johnny Depp. So that's what everybody else in the movie is seeing. Okay, so that's why it's like, this is a slam dunk case. We just need to pick up this Rod guy. And then it goes to the next day. And go ahead and pick it up from there, Corky.
Well, here's what I think's funny about the next scene. It's the next day. You're Nancy. You have just witnessed the murder of your best friend, right? Yeah. So what's the logical thing for you to do the next day?
I'm not going to school. I'm not going to school.
Even though it may make me have to take some extra tests, I'm going to skip school the next day if I just witnessed my best friend get brutally murdered
on the
in
ceiling
her bedroom
of your
while I slept in the bedroom next to her. So
and the guy's still missing.
Yeah, so we think Rod done it. So she's walking down the road, then you got Rod, leather jacket, no shirt on up and under it, barefoot, hiding behind a bush in the middle of town, like nobody could see him, hiding behind this little bush.
And nobody has found him yet.
No.
Hey, Nancy.
Yeah. So basically, he tells her he didn't do it and all this noise. So at some point, is this when they bust Rob? Does her dad pull up and catch him? And that's when it all happens?
Yeah. Well, basically, he used Nancy to draw Rod out.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. She got all pissed off at him.
Yeah, she got mad at him over it.
So they take Rod's butt to jail.
At this point, Nancy doesn't think he did it.
No. So at this point, Nancy thinks Rod's innocent, I guess. So they haul Rod's butt off to jail. So now, the night before we witnessed my best friend get murdered, I'm on the way to school the next day. The guy that may have murdered her runs out for me. My dad has to arrest him. I'm still going to continue walking to school. So, and then when I get to school,
she's looking for the perfect attendance award.
Yeah,
okay?
And she's
keep in mind, chick ain't had no sleep in like 2 days at this point.
Yeah, so
she wasn't sleeping last night.
No, because not only was her best friend getting murdered in the room next to her, Freddy was over the top of her trying to squeeze through the walls and get a hold of her.
Yeah.
So obviously when she gets to class, she is tired and she's going to start falling asleep. And when she falls asleep, we see another iconic scene in my mind is when Tina's body is in a body bag being dragged through the halls of the school.
Bro,
Now,
that's one of my favorite scenes of the
I was
whole
going to
movie.
ask you, Bryson, what do you think about that scene there, man? Because I think it's awesome. But tell me your thoughts on it, buddy.
That is such a creepy scene. I mean, one, like, you're in school and to not realize that you're dreaming, just seeing blood on the floor in general would just not be all right. But then to look up and there's just a body bag laying there and like her legs get picked up and she
Yeah.
gets dragged down the hall but nothing's there that's dragging her. Like, God, it's just just a chilling scene. And you gotta love the hall monitor.
Yeah, she's the one that
Well-
says no running in the hallway.
Yeah.
Which in turn, you have young Corky with nail fingers standing at the edge of the driveway trying to tell moving vehicles that there's no running in the hallway.
So I want to give you another little tidbit.
Was this before or after the nunchucks?
This was way before the nunchucks, baby.
Way
I was
before the
probably
nunchuck.
this movie come out in 84. I was born in 78. So what was I, 6 years old when this movie came out?
And your mom was already taking you to the gates of hell in 1983, so you know you saw this at the theater.
She
You
took
know
me
you
to
did.
see this movie in the theater. There's no doubt about it.
Did she really?
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Dude, I was 6 years old. You think I'm playing? I was acting these scenes out in the driveway of my mama's house. I'm not exaggerating. There was one point in time that her next door neighbor was named Levi, right? I was standing out there with my and it wasn't a cool glove. It was one of those old cheap like brown gloves you get from the dollar store that's
Hey,
made of
Mama,
cloth.
Freddy's killing me.
Yeah, so I had taped big old nails on the tips of these gloves, and the neighbor even came out one time.
So it's not even an actual Freddy knife.
No, no. So the neighbor comes out and he's like, "Hey, Corky, what are you doing?" I'm like, "No running in the hallways." So when I tell you I've watched horror movie from a young age, I'm not playing, man.
Well,
But
let me give you one more little tidbit from the classroom scene. If you have ever seen Sinister, okay, there's a spirit medium in the movie. She's an older lady. She is actually the teacher in this scene.
really,
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen Sinister. So
She's the
Wait,
same.
is it Sinister or Insidious?
I'm sorry.
It would be
Insidious.
It would be Insidious.
I've
See,
been
this is
corrected by
why
the professor.
The
There we
professor.
go.
He's at it again. He's at it again.
It is Insidious. My bad. I am so sorry, Professor.
Those are
So
both
you-
good
No,
movies.
no,
You are correct.
No, I ain't even trying to correct. Just you know.
It is, yes,
Well,
from Insidious.
So I do have a question. Oh, sorry, Dad. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to reiterate, from Insidious, the spirit medium lady that comes to help the family, I think that she appears in more than one of the movies. She is actually the teacher in that scene, and she tells Nancy whenever she wakes up out of the dream to go to the office and go lay down, take a nap.
Okay, that's cool. I did not know that. The question I was going to ask, though, is I can't remember, where did the body get dragged to? Was it down to the boiler room of the school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And was it the same as the boiler room in the dreams?
Yes.
Well, yes, it was
Well,
in
not
certain
at first.
scenes. In certain scenes,
Yes.
it was, yes.
Okay.
They would go to like a locker room scene and then it would go to the boiler. It kind of did a shift, which the movie did a really good job in the dream sequences because their scenes transition so well from being in one place to the next and these little details that just aren't realistic. But the scene is still believable. That's how your dreams are in real life, at least for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's just certain things about them that are just not right, but it just is seamless either way.
Yeah.
So they did a great job with that.
all right, so where are we at now? I think we're going to flip off to where Rod is in jail. Is that where we're at right now?
Well,
Yeah.
so first off, Nancy first discovers that whatever happens in the dream happens in real life, because when she's asleep in the school, she's being chased by Freddy, and in order to escape from Freddy, she ends up putting her arm on a hot pipe, and that heat and the pain wakes her up. And whenever she wakes up in the real world, she still has a burn on her arm. So now she's starting to discover, I can pull stuff out of the dream. She's it's a little bit of a foreshadowing there. But
so we, as the
yes.
audience, already knew that from the opening scene, but now she's starting to realize this as well.
Yeah.
I think we're getting close to this scene right here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That back behind me there. That is another iconic scene. Now, I think that's after she goes home from school. She's going to try to relax, take a little nap in the bathtub, because, again, that's what I like to do. I like to get in water and fall asleep on purpose, you know.
Yeah, and her mom's like, there's so many people a year that drown in a bathtub.
Yeah, and now we know why, because
And
in
she's
the
like,
80s,
yeah, Mom, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 80s, they actually made blow-up pillows that you could put on your bathtub to sleep in the bathtub. I don't know how we ever made it out of that decade, man. I
don't know, man. It was a rough decade. You had to be tough.
But she falls asleep in the bathtub, and then we get the iconic scene that you can see behind me here. Freddy's glove comes up between her legs, and basically the bathtub becomes a bottomless pit of water, and she wakes up right at the last minute. But that's another one of those just creepy scenes, how vulnerable she is there in the water. And then you see Freddy taking advantage of it, that being the pervert he is, you know what I'm saying? But that's a creepy scene. I've always enjoyed that scene. That's why I had to have a poster of it behind me here. But that's one of my favorite scenes of this movie.
Well, with that scene, the documentary that I watched, they were talking about the difficulties in actually shooting that scene, and from the way that they were having to have the stunt diver and the person to come up out of the water, the different positioning of the cameras and this and that, it was actually a really difficult scene to shoot. And I don't make movies, I don't know, but it looks, the simplicity of the shot, so you're just looking at Nancy's in the bathtub and she's asleep, right? So you've got the camera angle right there, and just the glove comes up. You've got the simplicity of it. But when you really start to break down the scene, they were talking about they had some real difficulties in doing it. So, kudos to them, because the simplicity of the shot looked great.
The tub was like a deep tank.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was going to say. I think
like
it's actually somebody standing up with the glove on, stuff like that. That's how deep the water was.
I can't remember
I don't know
exactly
how they got her
Yeah,
I don't know how they got her to float. I guess you had some sort of either a flotation device or like beams that she just laid on. But yeah, it was like a tank that they were in, not an actual tub.
Yeah. I do remember talking about the tank. But anyway, it was a difficult scene to shoot, according to the documentary that I watched. So kudos to them for making it look so simple.
Well, so now we've had all that happen. Now Rod's about to get his. He's in jail. He's laying there asleep or whatever it is. Old Freddy comes through there and makes a noose out of his sheet and actually hangs him inside the jail cell. Now, a fun fact about this scene is the guy that played Rod actually admits to being high on drugs during that scene. I think it was actually heroin he was on. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Okay, all right.
Well, I do know that he was actually very.
He wasn't getting paid for his. Yeah. He wasn't getting paid for his acting, so
he wasn't getting paid. Yeah. So okay, you skipped just ahead just a little bit, and it was a topic that I actually wanted to talk about. So.
All right.
This is it's leading up to that, and what happens is old Johnny Depp, he comes over and he climbs up the little trellis and he climbs through Nancy's bedroom, you know, and he's not supposed to be there. I think he's supposed to be 16, 17 years old. She's supposed to be 16 or whatever. So, you know, he's not supposed to be there. And Nancy says, all right, I got an idea. She says, I am going to go to sleep, but you're going to be like my watch person. So then what happens is she goes to sleep, and she's walking out of her house, and she's asleep. She's dreaming at this point. And she's about to head to the police station to go see Rod. And she looks over and she says, hey, are you there? And then old Johnny Depp pops out from behind a tree and he goes, yeah, I'm here. And so he was supposed to be there to pull her out of her dream, but he was awake. My question is, I want to bring us up to discussion for everybody, is how did she know to do that? And how did Johnny Depp just jump in her dream like that? Because he's actually awake. He's sitting beside her bed in the chair. He's awake. But when she's dreaming, he pops out from behind the tree and he waves at her and he's like, yeah, I got you. So how is that happening?
That's an interesting question. I don't think I ever put two and two together and realized he was in her dream. If that's the case, then yeah, that don't really make any sense to me. I don't know.
I kind of chalked it up to he wasn't actually there. Maybe she was just dreaming, like he was
Maybe
just
she was dreaming he was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't realize
I always thought it was odd because I can understand the fact that she's asleep, she's going to wake up and she's going to pull something out of the dream. Like later on in the movie, she grabs Freddy's hat. She wakes up and then she's holding the hat. All right. So I'm with you up to that point. But even before all of that stuff happens, even before all that stuff goes down, Johnny Depp is literally awake beside her bed. She's asleep in her bed, but she's talking to him in her dream, and he's talking back to her. And I just never did understand. I never did understand the mechanics on that.
Well, now that you mention it, I don't understand it either. So that's weird. I can't answer that question because I don't know.
So what, Bryson, Professor, have you got an opinion?
Not really. Just maybe she was so set on her plan on him waking her up that maybe she was stressed out about him not being able to, and had created him in her dream as kind of a, okay, he's got me, like this is gonna be all right. Maybe as a way to muffle her fear. Maybe she's stronger in the dream world than she thinks she is. And that was kind of a defense for herself, or it could have been Freddy messing with her, because he kind of already knows her plan, and maybe he was actually Freddy instead of Glenn.
Well, that's
Maybe so. Maybe so. I know that whenever she does get to the jail, she does see Freddy come through the bars, and she's trying to wake up, and she finally wakes up, and then Johnny Depp is asleep in the chair, so she smacks around on him, and she was like, hey, you were supposed to wake me up and this and that, you know.
You had one job, Johnny. One job.
Yeah, you had one job, Captain Jack Sparrow. What's your problem?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I just thought that was food for thought. I thought that would have been a good topic to kind of discuss, because I never did understand that scene. And from the documentary that I watched, it never was explained.
Yeah. Now that I don't think I ever really paid much attention, but yeah, that's weird. I need to go back and watch that.
Yeah, go back and rewatch that. And he's sitting awake. He's awake and she's asleep, but he's in her dream and she knows it. And they're talking to each other.
I love finding those little plot holes like that, but hey, maybe he was daydreaming or something like that.
I don't know. There's no telling.
You know.
But yeah, go ahead, Corky. So she, what winds up happening is Freddy ends up hanging Rod with a sheet, so it makes it look like he didn't use his knives. So it makes it look like Rod was suicide, in the jail cell. And so, that kind of is, I guess it proves to everybody else, see, Rod really did it. He really did kill Tina. Now he's killed himself. And so that kind of gets
Yeah, because
Freddy
he felt so
out of the
guilty about it,
limelight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that gives Freddy out of the limelight, see? And then Nancy, the more hysterical Nancy becomes, the more everybody else, the more disbelievable she looks to everybody else, the more unbelievable she looks. And so they're going, chick ain't slept in, what, 4 days at this point? 5 days? Yeah, she crazy.
When was that scene that she had the coffee maker in her room and her mom took the coffee maker and then
she
she
had
pulled
another
another
one?
one out of the
She
bag?
had another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
I'm
talking
like,
about that. Like, you
So-
can't smell that coffee.
yeah.
So I was gonna say somewhere around this, and Professor, I know you've got this in your notes, like I already know, and Dad probably has a trivia question about this. But I just thought this was super interesting since we've already reviewed this movie and we talked about something very similar. So around the same time, she's trying to stay awake, and on her TV is playing The Evil Dead. And
Okay.
so again, this was the director's, or Wes Craven. I was forgetting his name. Wes Craven. This was Wes Craven's way of answering the Evil Dead's response they had to Jaws. So remember, viewers of this show probably remember in The Evil Dead, there was a poster of Jaws because it was supposed to symbolize, hey, The Evil Dead is now the scariest movie of all time. We've surpassed Jaws. Well, Wes Craven responded, no, we are now, Nightmare on Elm Street is now the scariest movie of all time. We've surpassed The Evil Dead. And so it's just so cool how these movies align, and we've reviewed all 3 of these movies. So
Yeah, and I think
And I'll take it.
Go ahead.
Oh, my bad, Corky.
I was going to say, I think in Evil Dead 2, you can actually see Freddy's glove hanging on the wall or something like that. I wonder
Yeah,
what
it's
the
in the
tie
utility
together.
shed where it gets groovy.
Yeah.
What did you
Are
say?
those guys just buddies or something like that? Is there any kind of tie-in together, or are they just doing it to be doing it?
Not that
I
I
think
know of.
it just kind of started as a joke. And then they just kind of kept replying to each other,
Oh, okay.
like in the movies.
That's
And I
pretty cool, though.
Yeah. So, listen, we need to get to this Glenn death scene, man. So,
We'll get there.
are we
We'll
there
get there.
yet? Does that happen after the rod hanging scene?
We are just about there. So let me go ahead and catch the audience up. We just got to the Rod death scene, and we're about to open it up to trivia because we've already stumbled across some of my trivia questions. Brent, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I knew it was going to be under trivia, but I just had to mention it.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and say we're gonna go ahead and kick off trivia. If you guys are okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
go ahead.
so-
And when we get done with trivia, we will do guess the kill scene.
Shoot,
Because
yeah,
I forgot
man.
all about that. So we're going to
Shoot,
bring that back this week. So
that's what I'm talking
let's run
about.
this trivia, then we'll do that.
So I'm
Bronson's
gonna
got some trivia,
give
too.
a shout out to let's see how everybody was paying attention. Let's see how close the professor was paying attention here, right? All right. Question number 1. What is Nancy's house number?
Corky,
Corky, go.
1962.
No. You're wrong.
Oh, no way.
Anybody else has
Brent, you got a guess?
1462.
No.
48.
No. The
Is it
answer
1402?
it's 1428 Elm Street. I knew
it's 14 something.
So we got Big Goose Egg. Here we go. Question number 2. Now, this actually said it in the movie, but you had to be paying attention. How
Spit it out,
old,
son.
how old was Tina?
Corky,
Corky, go.
14.
No, she was not 14.
God.
Brent,
Brent, go.
16.
No, she was not
No.
16. Bryson,
Bryson.
Bryson, go.
18.
No.
Oh, God, y'all were all over it.
The
If
answer
she
is
was-
15.
The answer is 15. The news
Damn.
reporter actually reported 15-year-old Tina was killed.
Yeah,
and it was on
I
the
didn't.
TV.
I just had to guess. I knew it was either 14 or
a good one.
15. And of course, I
Um,
guessed wrong.
Which, I mean, when you think about it, a 15-year-old getting killed like that, that's
Brutally
pretty,
murdered, man.
that's pretty heavy, man, because a 15-year-old
Yeah, that
is
is.
very much a child.
For
So
real.
anyway,
And she did
Yeah.
not need to be doing what she was doing with Rod.
she did
in there at
not.
15 years old.
No, she did not.
Let me
need to
just
be
put
doing
that
what
out there
Rod
right
was
now.
doing. So anyway, question number 3. We still got Big Goose Egg. Nobody's got anything right.
Bring it on,
Okay.
son. I'm going to get one of them right.
Okay. All right. Here you go, Big Daddy. Name one other big movie that Nancy's dad was in. Now, I can tell you one
Corky.
right now. Boom, go. Corky.
Halloween.
No. What? Come on,
bruh.
man.
Oh, I swore he was in there too.
He wasn't the sheriff in Halloween?
No, he was not Charles Cyphers. We done said
ripped
that he
my
was
eyes out for
John
not saying the
Saxon.
truth.
God, rip your eyes
God.
out. Rip your
Diaz
eyes out.
Rason.
Oh, Brent and Bryson. Either one of you two. Man, y'all are killing me
I don't
tonight,
know.
man.
I'm gonna say Friday the 13th.
No.
7.
No. Bryson.
I feel like he's in a Western or something.
If he was, it's not the movie I'm thinking of. The man's name was John Saxon. He played the sheriff. He played Nancy's dad. And the other big movie that he was in the 1970s with Bruce Lee, and it was Enter the Dragon.
Oh,
Well, I would have
That's
never
cool.
got that.
You
That's
never
cool.
seen no Bruce Lee movies? Oh,
I may have once or twice.
all
I
right.
never would.
Well, everybody's goose egg right now. It's anybody's game. Here we go. What did Nancy say the record for the most number of days somebody has stayed awake was? And I can tell you the scene right now. She was standing on the bridge with Glenn, and she was
Brent?
talking to him. Brent, go.
Was it 9 days?
No.
7
Bryson.
days.
No. Bryson, go.
8 days.
No. In the
It's
movie.
probably like 12.
It's 11. In the movie,
No
she
way.
says that the record is 11 days. Man,
Dang.
y'all sucking at some Nightmare on Elm Street trivia, man. I tell you
I
what.
just want our viewers to know. I just want our viewers to know. Play along with us, as I'm sure you're already doing, and
And-
see how many you think you can get. Okay?
Exactly.
And this is an average trivia question for Dad. We're
Yeah,
just
he ain't
waiting.
done all- he hasn't
we're just
went
waiting
crazy
for
on us
his-
yet.
We're just waiting for his famous the license plate number. So I'm
What bumper
waiting
sticker
for-
did Freddie have?
It's like better be killing.
Man, y'all are killing me, man. Okay. I'll give you an easy one. Okay, ready? What number of jersey was Glenn wearing when he got killed? Bryson, go.
10.
Boom! Finally, we've got a point.
Professor.
We've got a point. All right.
Bonus
Okay.
question: was Glenn wearing a full shirt or half a shirt?
Top for the win.
All right. So we got 3 more questions, and that's it, guys. So y'all better be coming on strong.
I'm about to run the
What?
table.
What did Glenn say was coming on later when he was talking to his mom right before he got killed? She was talking about
Brent.
Brent. Go.
It's the swimsuit contest.
You're close.
Miss America swimsuit contest.
You're close.
Corky.
Dude.
Corky, go.
Miss Universe
No.
swimsuit contest.
No.
Way.
No,
Bryson.
you're giving me that point. You're
Come
giving me
on,
that
Bryson.
point. That is just,
Once Brent said it, I'm like, yeah, that's it.
No.
you're giving me that point. You're not playing this game.
No,
That's
no.
1-1, me and Bryson.
Look, man. I'll be fair. At best, you get half a point, okay? Because Glenn said Miss Nude America. He didn't say he didn't
No,
have
he
no
can't get half a
swimsuit.
point for that.
What?
He was not in. No, he gonna get half a point for that.
All
'cause
right,
that,
all
there's
right. So Corky says you don't even get a half a point.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but
you don't even get a half a
said
point.
beauty
You said.
pageant, and that's no
This
whatever
is a
closer.
swimsuit contest. They're not actually nude on
He
TV.
said, no, Glenn said Miss Nude America. I didn't say it. He was the one that said it. You were
This is
supposed to,
rigged.
you guys were supposed to have watched this movie. We have done 6 questions so far, and we've got 1 right, and it's the professor that got it. Y'all are
Dang.
killing me.
I think it's tied 1-1.
It's 1-0. And question number 7. What was on Nancy's TV when Glenn crawled through her window?
Bryson.
Bryson, go.
Was that the Evil Dead?
That's Evil Dead. I can't believe it. All y'all didn't jump on that at the same time. Bryson clinched. Okay, so it's 2-0. We got 1 question left. Okay.
And he's still got questions too, so I can still come back.
All right, well, I'm playing, though. I'm playing, so I can steal those points. Okay, what animal was shown at the beginning of Tina's dream?
Corky.
Brent.
Corky, go. A lamb is correct. Brent with a big goose egg for tonight.
No. Hey, in the comments, I want you guys to have my back. In the comments, hashtag Brent gets 1 point.
I want we want to know.
Hashtag bikini contest.
We want to know.
Hashtag bread is toast.
Yeah.
We
Hashtag,
remember that. Remember that
I have been screwed
podcast.
over with. I have been screwed over with these answers. Come on, guys. I need
Remember
your
that
help. Please
podcast wants
comment.
to know: did we do Brent justice in this?
Listen,
That's
Miss
we want
Nude
to know.
America is not Miss Nude Swimsuit or Miss Swimsuit. It's just, I'm sorry, it's 2 different things.
Guys, I'm
It's
saying,
it's
do you
nude,
think?
son.
Do you think? I don't care what he said. Do you honestly think that on national TV they're gonna have a nude actual nude content? He's talking about swimsuits.
He could have been watching He could have been watching HBO. Man, we don't know what channel
He's
he was
watching
on.
talking about
Cinemax. This is
swimsuits.
1984. He's watching Cinemax. I ain't no telling what was on.
Yeah, he could have been watching, real sex or something like
I
that.
saw some scrambled porn back in 1984 in my day, man. I know what
Yeah.
comes on in the middle of the
1984.
night.
You were 5. You were 5.
Man, I had bad parents. Do you not know that I had bad parents at this point? Well, that's all my trivia, Bryson.
Regardless, we know what come on Cinemax and HBO in the middle
We
of the
know
night.
what come on Cinemax back in at late night, Friday night, Saturday night, back in the 80s. Now, that was my trivia questions. Bryson, do you have any trivia questions for us?
I got a couple for you.
All right, go ahead. I'm in the game. I'm going to play.
All right. What is the name of the town they're in?
I got Daniel.
Daniel?
Springfield.
Well, it's close.
What? Was it Springwood?
It's Springwood.
Okay, Springwood.
No,
My bad.
no.
No.
0 points. 0 points.
My bad.
Sorry, buddy.
Come on.
That's the same as nude and swimsuit. 2 different
Man,
things.
it's better than the junk y'all are throwing out tonight. Come on.
What was the class Nancy fell asleep in?
Daniel.
Brent?
Was it literature? English?
It was English. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a point for Brent.
Kind of
Man,
shady there,
boy.
man.
Y'all
He
screwed
said
me over on
literature
that town, man.
first.
Shady, dude.
Y'all
Come
screwed
on.
me over on
Hey.
Springwood.
I'd say literature is basically English. I mean, unless you get into like college where literature is like some sort of writing class.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Brent, I
Um,
know that you were in all the smart classes when you were in high school, but I wasn't, right? We didn't have literature in high school. We had
Yeah.
English. We didn't have literature. We had English.
Hey, I followed up with that. That's better than Springfield and Springwood.
All right.
You got to
What-
give me Springwood, man. I had that.
No,
I had that all
Had me,
day.
bro.
No,
You give me half a point for that at least, man.
I got to veto that, man. You can't have no point for that. Sorry.
Being vetoed. No.
What was the news station that reported Tina's death?
I don't know that one.
What was the bumper sticker on the van that they were driving?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, I picked this one because the answer is pretty cool.
So,
does anybody have any
alright.
guesses?
But what was it? Was it said audibly or was it shown visibly in the movie?
It was said audibly, and I'll give you a hint. It's like a radio station, so it would be like an abbreviation.
You KIL.
That would be pretty cool.
Anybody else got a
I
guess?
don't have a clue.
You FRD.
Nah, it is KRGR, which is an abbreviation of Krueger.
Oh,
Okay, so that don't make
never
no
noticed
sense
that.
because all the radio stations call signs. I'm getting technical on this. Hold on. All the eastern radio signs east of the Mississippi start with a W. Everything west of the Mississippi start with a K. Am I right?
It's KRGR. I don't know.
Man.
They're in Ohio.
They're in
Yeah,
Ohio?
but isn't that east of the Mississippi? Ohio?
Well, you know what?
Yes,
It's neither here nor there,
Man,
because if it was in the movie,
see, that is how deeply I think about these movies because I'm like, I'm thinking on these terms.
Come on.
No, I'm
think
thinking
so
on
deeply
that.
about these movies.
Oh, you're killing, you're
please.
killing me.
Says the guy that asked about the license plate numbers.
What? Dude, I'm just saying you got to pay attention to the movie. And the movie.
Oh, see, when I wrote that one down, I said, that's a Daniel question.
Yeah, no doubt.
That was a good one. I liked it. Kudos to the professor.
I just got one more for you.
All right, go ahead.
How many minutes of screen time did Freddy actually have?
Daniel.
Brent.
Brent?
I'm going to say 9 minutes.
Mm-mm.
I say 7.
No, I don't have a clue.
Daniel's got it with 7.
Oh, good job.
Yep.
There
He
you
only
go,
had
baby.
7 minutes of screen time?
Yeah.
That's
only
that's
7
pretty
minutes
cool.
of screen
Dude,
time.
man, when you are
Wow.
that scary of a character, that's all you need is 7 minutes of screen time, and you got people screaming.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. Well, this
Well,
is a good
those were great.
way. This is a
Those were
good way
great
to
questions.
segue into the guess the death scene, thing. We're going to bring that back this week, guys.
Bring it
So,
on. I got this.
For everybody listening that doesn't know, I'm going to play the sound of a death scene in this movie. And we're going to see which one of the guys here can guess which death scene it is. So here it is. I'm going to play it, and then we're going to see who can guess what it is. So here you go. What death scene did I just play? Who wants to go first?
I go
Bryson,
first.
You go first. Go first,
Me?
Bryson.
Is it Glenn?
All right. Brent, you go.
Johnny Depp.
All right, Daniel, your turn.
It's Johnny Depp. It's Glenn.
It is Glenn in the waterbed death scene. Yes, so everybody got it right. Everybody got it right. All right. So I think that's actually the death scene we're at is Johnny Depp's ultimate waterbed death scene. Does anybody want to critique this scene for us? Or you just want me to do it?
Real quick, right before his death scene, Nancy is trying to call, and
Oh, I forgot about that.
Gwen's dad keeps hanging up, hangs up the phone on her and stuff like that. But she's trying to call, and that mouthpiece with Freddy's tongue on the phone. I always love that prop. That's so cool. I'd love to have like an actual phone.
I actually seen the original phone that they used in the movie the other day on online, and it was for sale,
cool.
but it still exists, man. It's kind of
That's
falling
so
apart
cool.
now, but it's still out there.
Really?
But,
Okay.
Yeah, Freddie flicks his tongue at Nancy through the phone and tries to get fresh with her and all that good stuff.
So, here's
Meanwhile,
my-
Glenn's over there watching the Miss Nude America pageant while he's laying in the bed.
Hashtag swimsuit. Hashtag swimsuit.
Yeah, hashtag no point. How about that? One of the weird things about this scene that a lot of people have a problem with is Glenn is in a waterbed with a TV in his lap, but he's listening to the radio. So I'm guessing he's just looking at the TV to be seeing what he's seeing, you know. Now that I know that it's the Miss Nude America pageant, maybe that's who cares what's on the TV, what the sound is. So, but a lot of people have a problem with that scene because why is he listening to the radio and watch TV at the same time? But I guess now that we know that what he's watching is the Miss Nude America pageant, you know, he's not worried about what they're saying. He's worried about what they're doing. You feel me? So,
well, that's what Glenn's
at that
mom
point-
was wanting to know.
yeah.
Yeah. She was like, "How are you watching TV
Yeah.
and got your headphones on?"
Yeah.
Okay, what I want to know is if these are actual nude women on TV, then why is he so eager to tell his mom, "Oh, I'm watching the Miss Nude universe"? Like that makes no sense.
I
It's a
think we're
swimsuit contest.
I think we're overthinking this. I don't think that there was ever a swimsuit contest coming on. I think he said Miss Nude America to be funny.
You think
I
so?
think that
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a Miss Nude America that was even on Nightmare on Elm Street. I think he said that as a joke to his mom.
I think when it actually showed
Well,
his
that's
TV,
disappointing.
it had like cars on it.
Well,
No.
yeah. Well, so back then, okay, you and Brent might not know this, but after a certain hour, and it was usually around midnight, 1 o'clock, most TV stations went blank. So then they would play the American flag, they would play the national anthem, and then they would have no programming until 6 or 7 o'clock the following morning. That was for most television channels back then, before cable. Like cable was on 24/7. Corky, correct me if I'm wrong, but for the most part, if you were
Yes.
watching something local or something that wasn't cable, your television station had no programming after about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
And so
that's weird how that went away too, man. That's something that doesn't happen these days. That's weird to think about.
yeah, there's always something on. You wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with insomnia, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and there'll be something on. I remember when I worked day shift and I had to be at work at 7, I used to get up at 5:30, and I would get up at 5:30, go downstairs, turn on the TV, and I would watch an episode of G.I. Joe. And that was when I was probably 35 years old. You know, it was already showing reruns or whatever, but my point is that there was always something on.
Right.
Brent,
Yeah.
for our age group, did you ever fall asleep watching Nickelodeon and wake up to the George Lopez show?
Yes.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. You always wake up. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. It's like, oh, no, right.
No, I tell you what, me and Corky always woke
That's
up
Nick
to.
at night.
Yeah.
But me and Corky always woke up to them random songs, and we would get some kind
Oh
of
God.
yeah. What was those random songs? It was always tape.
It was like the
taped by
best of the
mail.
90s.
Yeah.
It
It
was
was
even
love
before
songs
that,
of 1986 or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You had
And it would have what's that guy that played the saxophone? What's his name?
Kenny G.
Kenny G.
Kenny G.
Kenny G
yeah.
would be on the beach blowing his horn, and the commercials were always real loud, man. It's like they'd wake you up and they'd scare you to death.
Is that
These timeless
if
classics.
you want
Yeah.
the best of the 80s?
Bryson, were you the
You
guy
know.
that did the voice? Because that sounded just like
Yeah.
it. Bryson, if we ever have commercials for this podcast, you are going to be the voice of the Remember That.
Yeah,
podcast.
you're going to be the
Hey.
voice. Remember that.
Oh man.
Remember That presents.
So Brent, run us through Johnny Depp's death scene, man. Run us through
Yeah,
it.
do it.
Well, I mean, you guys are going to have to fill in the blank spots that I have. Basically, he's just sitting there. He falls asleep while he's listening to the radio and watching the Miss Nude America or whatever it turns out he was watching. And his bed just opens up, and he starts getting sucked into his bed. And he's trying to fight it. He gets into the bed, and blood just starts pouring all over the room. And that was an intense scene. And I'm pretty sure that I heard that when they filmed it, the bed was actually like in real life, the bed was on the ceiling.
Yeah,
they just had liquid.
It was
pouring
upside
down.
Yeah, they
But
made
yeah,
the
in
whole room upside down, and the bed was actually on the ceiling, and everything that was coming up out of the bed was actually falling down with gravity and whatnot.
And
so
that is special effects. I'll say that.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's why I was
yeah,
gonna say
and,
with
I mean,
special
this is-
effects. They were able to spin it.
This is
and-
why I love practical effects, because today it would look the dumbest that you could.
Yeah.
I mean, you would just have CGI blood everywhere. But yeah, that was an intense scene. It was a really cool scene. Am I forgetting anything, guys?
Now that's pretty much it. Sucked down in a
Yeah.
waterbed, blood goes everywhere. That's pretty much the whole
Yep.
scene.
I
That's
love
pretty much
everybody's
it.
reaction to that happening.
Yeah.
Like, the parents, medics, the police officers, everybody that goes in that room, they just don't even know
They're
how to
getting
process it.
they're getting sick. Like the paramedics that go in there, the police officers that go in there, they're actually getting sick when they go in there. So that kind of gives you, we started off with Tina, okay, and it was the most graphic deaths yet, right? And she's getting all cut up and stuff. Now we have switched over to now Johnny Depp has got pulled under his bed. He's you don't even see him get killed. All you see is blood like shoot up. And now
you
there's
never see a
blood just
body either,
everywhere.
right?
Right,
Yeah.
you never see a body.
He just gets like blended up or something.
Yeah, and so now the kills are getting even more graphic. And remember, this is 1984. We haven't really seen a whole lot, especially at this level of graphic. Friday the 13th at this point is starting to get up there. Part 4 come out in 1984. Part 3 come out in 83, or somewhere around in there. So they had some pretty graphic kills. But this, I think at that point was probably one of the most graphic death scenes that we've seen on camera so far. And so everything about this movie is just pioneer. When we talk about cultural significance, if this doesn't score a 10 for everybody,
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's just crazy.
Now, I will say, as far as significant death scenes, you guys know my bias, but I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was made like 10 years or so before this movie, I still think that it had some better kill scenes, but that's just my bias for the movie. As far as gore goes, yes, of course, this may be the goriest scene filmed up to that time.
I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a different kind of movie, because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you've got your kind of original slasher that's going on. You had Psycho, that was in 1969, I think, and then Texas Chainsaw Massacre come along in 1974. Even though it wasn't as gory, your mind filled in all the blanks to make it so much more gory than what it really was. And now we're 10 years past that, and we're talking about Freddy Krueger,
to where
and
you
it
have
is very
blood
gory.
shooting out of your bed.
And so, yeah, the 1980s was very much the heyday of practical effects, very much gore. You had a lot of nudity, and I was surprised in this movie, at the lack of nudity and the lack of the lack of a need for nudity, really. Part of what made Friday the 13th so successful was that you had a bunch of good-looking girls that had their tops off and they were getting killed, right? Well, in this one, you've got your everyday girl next door and they're getting killed. and they don't have their tops off. You know, you had Tina that was promiscuous, but you really didn't see anything. And so I think that kind of it still serves the purpose of setting this movie apart from what the other ones were. This is still very much a pioneer movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
I don't think there was ever a lot of nudity in any of the Friday or the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, was there?
Not that I can
No,
remember.
not really.
Not that I can remember.
So after Glenn's death, Nancy kind of trips out, and she is this when she goes back to her house, and is this when she starts rigging up the booby traps and stuff like that? Is after
Yeah,
Glenn's
so
death?
she's
so,
already
yeah.
been reading
This
that
is
book.
Home Alone meets Elm Street
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah. So whenever she met Glenn on the bridge, and Glenn actually gave her the key to defeating Freddy, when he was
Yeah.
like, you know, the whoever tribe in whatever country, the way that they defeated their dream demons were they just turned their backs on them. So that's the key, okay? But at that point, she was already reading a book about booby traps and stuff, and he was like, "What are you reading?" And she was like, "I'm into survival." So after after Glenn gets killed, then she ends up taking a lot of the booby traps from that book, and she actually rigs her house up, because at this point she has already went to the sleep center. She's fallen asleep. She has fought Freddy in another dream, pulled his hat off. And she was showing the hat to her mom, and her mom was like, "I don't know, you're crazy, whatever. I don't know where you got this
She showed it to her
hat."
dad too, I think.
She eventually,
And that
the
was
mom eventually.
I was going to
took
say,
her
did we skip that
downstairs.
scene? Yeah.
We actually did.
We did.
The mom took
that
her
was another
downstairs,
nod.
and the mom
My
filled her
bad,
in.
Dan.
The mom was like, you
Yeah,
know,
she done.
a few years ago there was a child killer, and they actually caught the guy, and because of the investigation kind of went wrong, somebody signed their name on the wrong line, you know, some kind of technical error in the investigation.
Got off on a
Freddy,
technicality.
yes, Freddy went free. And so, because he went free, the parents ended up basically going and ganking him at the factory that he was
Ganking
in.
him.
They just
Hey,
straight up
again,
ganked
just
him.
if you guys play drinking games with this podcast, that's
Oh my
that's
God.
Dad's dad's weird word of the day.
We gotta do Daniel's word of the week. This week
Yeah.
is gank.
Well, Bryson, what were you gonna say? You were gonna say
Oh
something.
my
What were you gonna say?
God.
No, just
He was going
when
to
she
give
was
us
in
the
the sleep
definition of
center.
gank.
Yeah, Bryson, can you give us the definition of gank, please?
I don't. No comment.
No,
It's
nobody
like
has the
when it-
definition of gank.
It's
I'll
like
use
when
it in a
spelling
sentence.
bee.
Daniel
It's
is going
like when
to
it's-
gank you.
It's like when a spelling bee. The word is gank.
Gank. Can you tell me the
Can you-
origin of this word, please?
The origin,
Gank.
please. Can
Early
you tell me?
80s, Inglewood, Tennessee.
Can you use it in a
Gank.
sentence, please? All right. So the mom.
Wait, Bryson
and
was gonna.
the-
Hey, Bryson
I'm
was gonna
sorry.
say something.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My bad. Just when she was in the sleep center and she wakes up and part of her hair went gray
Yeah.
from the stress of it all, goes back into that whole symbolism of losing the innocence because some of her hair is now gray, like she had aged.
Yeah.
Is that
But
part
anyways,
one? I
no-
thought that
no-
was part. No, in part 3, she's got the gray streak in her hair, don't she?
Yeah, she's
Yeah, but
she
part
still
one,
has it
she's
because
got
that
it. She
happened in
comes
part
out
one.
of it at the sleep center with the gray.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't really picking up on that for the symbolism, but I mean that makes a lot of sense. So I mean, I knew there was some symbolism to the movie, but I didn't know it was that prevalent throughout. So that's really
Well,
interesting.
yeah, this
that could
movie,
change my
man.
story.
Listen, and before we break down this final scene, we done a podcast a few months ago, and it was about the Final Girls. Now, that whole podcast, whatever it was, happened. We lost the entire podcast. We didn't even get to post it. But, you know, spoiler alert, Nancy is my #1 Final Girl of all time. And this final scene is why I call her my favorite, or I call her the best final girl of any of them, because look, this chick researched, booby trapped her house, and went toe to toe with this dude. She didn't run and cry and whine about, this guy gave me 2 seconds of trauma, so 20 years later I'm going to try to kill him again, and do all this crying and whining. She went toe to toe with him and beat him, just like the woman she was. So as we break this down, this is why Nancy gets my vote for best final girl of all time, because she squared up with him, she outsmarted him, and she ultimately beats him. So, Bryson, if you want to break this final scene down for us, and then we'll talk about it.
So, since I watched this 2 weeks ago, I don't fully remember the whole dream sequence, but I do know that as he's trying to get her, she's using the booby traps in the house to mess with him, to try to throw him off. But she ends up grabbing him out of the dream world.
Yeah. Yeah, and she pulls
I
him
think
into
she
the
had
real
like
world.
did she have like an alarm clock that went off, and that's how she
No,
held on to
what
him?
it was she went to sleep, and she did set an alarm clock, but she went to sleep, and she's in the dream world with him, and he's kind of got her trapped, because she's in the boiler room, and then she's in the house, and then she's trying to run up the steps, and the steps are molten lava or whatever. Okay, and so
That
she
was such a
winds
cool
up.
scene,
Pancake
It was
batter.
a
That's what it was.
very cool scene, but
especially
she
in dreams
winds
where you're
up.
moving slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. She winds up jumping out of the window and landing on the ground, which is what wakes her up. But she had a hold of him whenever she did it. So whenever she wakes up, he comes up out of the bushes with her. And so now they're running through the house. And I can't remember how they even got back in the house or whatever. Or maybe she's in her bedroom or whatever when she wakes up. Yeah. She jumps through the window in the dream, lands in the bushes. He's chasing her around the yard in the dream, but then she actually wakes up and he's in the real world with her. So she raises up on the bed, then he pops up from the floor, and now the chase is on in the real world. So she runs out of her door, and she's already got the sledgehammer posted up, so as soon as he opens the door.
I call her the Macaulay
sledgehammer.
Culkin of Final Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, except she's bad, and Macaulay Culkin is not
she
bad.
She ends up running downstairs. He chases her downstairs. He turns on the light. She had the gunpowder in the light bulb. It blows up. He catches on fire somehow, chases her downstairs into the basement. I think that's where she actually sets him on fire. Then she comes back up and she's trying to get out the front door, and the front door has been locked by her drunk mother, which is passed out. And so the dad and the other cop kind of runs across the yard, busts open the door. And so they finally track Freddy down to the drunk mother's bedroom upstairs. So they follow the fiery footprints up the stairs. Freddy is actually killing the mother. And so they bust in on him. And then you had the final showdown. So it's kind of a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit anticlimactic, because he kind of just sinks into the bed with the mother, and you kind of see the big
he kills her, right?
void. Yeah, she's actually dead. He kills her. You see the void.
Or did he?
She kind of sinks down, and then the bed
final
is completely
scene.
made. Do what, bub?
I said, or did he? The final scene. That classic final scene.
Yeah, it's going to bring me to another topic. But her and her dad are now staring at an unmade bed. Or actually is staring at a made bed. And so her dad is like, okay, I've got to go back downstairs. So her dad turns around, walks around. She turns around, closes the door, because she knows that her final showdown with Freddy is not quite complete. So Freddy comes up out of the bed. She looks at him. they have a small conversation. She's like, I take back all the energy I give you. I take back all the power that I give you. I'm going to turn my back on you. She turns around. He lunges for her, and then he kind of just disappears. So the next thing she knows, she wakes up, and she's in the middle of the daytime. Her mom's alive. She walks outside. Her friends show up in Glenn's car. She gets in it, and then some weird stuff happens, and you notice that the Freddy striped sweater is actually the top of the car. And so that kind of leads you to believe that Freddy is still around. You know, he's still around for another day. And then they kind of drive off, and the movie ends with the mom standing on the front porch, and then Freddy reaches through and drags the mom through the window.
Which
to
did
end the
not
movie-
look good. I'll say that the special effects there were not good. It looked like he
Yeah,
pulled
the
a mannequin through that hole.
The special effects sucked right there. But
Yeah.
okay, you're watching this in 1984. Okay, so that's how this movie ends. So you don't know if Nancy won or if Freddy wins, and that is kind of the precedence that it starts making for all of the future Freddy movies. So at the end of it, yes, Freddy is defeated for the time, but there's always something that happens at the end of the movie that lets you know that Freddy is still around to fight another day. And that's kind of how it ends. So for, Brent, what's your opinion of how the movie ends? Well, what do you think about it?
Are you talking about the very last scene?
Yeah.
Yep. Very last scene.
Okay, so that very last scene, I've got to admit, it was super cheesy, and I think it actually goes down as being very cheesy. And spoiler alert, that does bring down my special effects category. But the special effects of the mom being ripped through the window, it's like, okay, come on.
So you're going to rank the special effects of Sleepaway Camp as an 8, but because of this one freaking thing, okay, you're going to give it a 5 or a 4?
No, I gave it an 8.
Okay, all right. I'm just
But
calling
no.
bull crap. I'm just calling bull crap where I see bull crap.
I mean, I think it's obvious. Well, it may not be obvious, but in my head, it kind of took a little bit from the Friday the 13th route of saying, oh, you think this is done, but oh, here's the Freddy car. Like as soon as the top comes up and you see that's a good way pattern.
The Freddy car.
And he drives away, and the mom gets ripped through the window. She's like a doll, like an inflatable doll. It's like, I don't know what was going on. I don't know why they didn't end it
Looked like a
before
mannequin.
that scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely not the best ending to a great movie.
They're like, man, we had a good movie, man. How can we screw this up with this last scene here?
For anybody who doesn't know, in part 3, it does clarify that the mom was killed. It does clarify that was just another dream about Freddy from Nancy.
So that was just a dream sequence then, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does clarify.
Well, about
that
had
the
to be
dad-
because if it wasn't a dream sequence, then that means nobody died in the movie.
I
Yeah,
will say
I don't know what kind of bullcrap that would have been.
Yeah,
I will say one of the cool parts about that scene is that you get to hear the creepy nursery rhyme sung again. I'm pretty sure it plays at the beginning and then it plays at the end, and so that is one thing. And you see the two little girls jump roping, or 3 girl or whatever, however many. You see them jump roping and singing. Okay, 5. Yeah, you see them jump roping and singing that nursery rhyme. So that was pretty creepy. But as a whole, that was a pretty bad ending to a great movie.
And that nursery rhyme was based on the 1-2 buckle my shoe nursery rhyme. They just kind of took that one and rearranged it and made the Freddy theme out of it.
Yeah.
So,
Which
are
is
you
very
guys ready
iconic.
to rate this bad boy?
Shoot, yeah,
Let's do it.
man. Let's rate this. Let's rate this
Oh,
thing.
before we rate it, I will say, since the professor he's got copious notes, I will I'll ask: is there anything that we didn't cover that would be cool to add to this podcast?
The only
Professor,
thing
would you like to
else I
add
was
anything?
Hey, go ahead and do your dissertation on this show.
yeah, really the only other thing I was going to add on here was just more of the symbolism in there, and a cool fact about where this movie came from, like the idea of this movie for Wes Craven. I don't know if y'all have heard where he got the idea from.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
tell us, baby.
I'm
There might
pretty
be
sure
somebody
it
out
was.
there that don't know.
Yeah, Bryson, you say it.
So basically, looking at my notes, basically he saw a series of newspaper articles. It was in the Los Angeles Times. They were coming out over a 3-year period about a group of Southeast Asian refugees, several of whom died in the throes of horrific nightmares. Could not find a cause of each death each time they occurred, but they would stay awake as long as they possibly could until they would fall asleep. They would have nightmares. They would wake up screaming, and then they would die. And it's never been they never figured out why that happened
Hmm.
in this case.
That creeps
So
me out too, man. That's weird.
yeah, like very strange. The whole story of it's very strange, and so that's actually where this idea came from. And I think he threw in a couple of other well-known stories in the past and kind of mixed them all up. Because if you look at him being a representation of the night hag, so have y'all ever seen that painting where the demon is sitting on the person's chest, which is like sleep paralysis? Um, and it's the idea that the night hag or the old hag is a demon from folklore that sits on the victim's chest to cause sleep paralysis and nightmares, and then they kind of absorb that energy. But there's also um I've got all of these notes and I can't read any of them, but it shows the the consequences of parental actions. So there's basically a Greek theory on if you sin, then your children are going to have to deal with those sins later on, and it kind of touches into that where they had killed Freddy. Now he's coming back not on revenge on them, but on revenge of their kids. And on the surface, Nancy's mom is an alcoholic and her dad is absent due to his job. So that's also their sins against her coming back to haunt because she even asked her dad, "You're gonna come and get me, right?" And he shows up too late. In fact, that's the only time in the movie he's actually shown in the house. So it shows how absent he is. He's never there. The mom's always there. In every scene she's in, she has that bottle. But the actual plot of the parents killing Freddy, which caused all of this to happen. But I just wanted to touch on those other symbolic notes that I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt,
Yeah,
man.
that's very interesting.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, and like the mom falling asleep on the couch, letting her down at the end because she was drunk, the dad
yeah,
not showing up. Like it's just kind of a cycle of
Yep.
parents letting their kids down.
Yeah,
I feel you.
and
Okay.
that's pretty cool, man. One thing we can say is this movie's definitely got some symbolism in it. But
Yes,
well,
it
Brent,
that would boost up my symbolism score.
well, since you want to talk about symbolism, Brent, tell everybody how we're going to rank this bad boy.
All right. Well, so what we do is we rank them with 5 criteria. We've got cultural significance, special effects, music, symbolism, and enjoyment. We rank those 1 through 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the least. And we give an overall score, and that is our overall enjoyment of this movie.
Mhm.
And so that's the average of those 5 scores.
Well, who wants to go first?
All right, so I'll go ahead and kick this off. We started this the last couple of times to where, once we started getting into the rankings and all of us started to really break it down on our own, it started to kind of bog down, right? So we ended up just telling what our total score was. And basically, if we had an oddball or somebody who scored it a lot higher or a lot lower than what everybody else did, we would kind of have a small discussion about that. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. And my total enjoyment or total in general ended up being a 9.6, which equaled a 10. This is a fantastic movie, so I give it a 10. I had almost 10s. I had 10s in almost every category. So I'll go ahead and kick it up to Bryson. Bryson, what do you got, buddy?
My overall score was a 9.8, which rounds up to a 10. And again, I pretty much had almost 10s all across the board. The music I did give a 9.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well,
I mean, it was good. I do
we
like
may
the
have
music,
to have a
but
little conversation about that. Okay, so Brent,
No.
go ahead, bud. What you got, bud?
Well, I also have a 9 on the music, but my overall for
Oh,
this movie
my
was an
God.
8.2, and
What?
that rounds to an 8 out of 10.
Oh, my
Dang.
God.
My God,
Dang.
dude, an 8.
All right.
All right.
All right,
We
hold on.
definitely
Hold
got
on,
to talk
hold on a
about this,
second.
but go ahead. Go
Now,
ahead, Corky.
Well, we gotta Corky's gotta have his
Look,
score.
listen, 10s all the way around. This is one of
You
my
know
favorite movies of all
Corky's got
time.
10s.
So explain to me, Brent, what knocked it down
right.
for you?
Symbolism. So I gave it a 5 out of 10 on Symbolism.
Oh, we literally just had a 30-minute conversation
I
about
know.
the
I
symbolism
didn't
in this
know.
movie.
I didn't know this before I did the ranking.
Man,
But so if this makes you feel any better,
I
I've
will
got
let you
10
amend your ranking if you would like to do that.
Well, if I had to amend it, I'll probably move the Symbolism up to an 8, and that would be what would that be? 8.6 or so, round up to 9, something like that. But if it makes you feel any better, so cultural significance is definitely a 10.
yeah.
Special effects, I gave it an 8, mainly because of that last scene where you've got the blow-up doll being pushed through the... So, I mean, that brings
I'll
it down.
give you that.
The music, I give it a 9 because I love the music, but it's not as iconic as Jaws, Halloween, Friday the 13th.
I beg to differ. I think that it is, but because you give it a 9, I'm gonna let it slide.
Symbolism, I gave it a 5, but amended a round up, or I change it to an 8. And then enjoyment, I give it a 9. So I mean, I didn't give it bad scores except for Symbolism.
So
that's
so
how
you just wasn't feeling the symbolism.
Well, I didn't pick up on all of the symbolism that, like, you have Silence of the Lambs, that is obvious to pick it up. Psycho, obvious to pick it up. The Godfather, obvious to pick it up. Nightmare on Elm Street, it was a little bit harder to pick up, but listen to the professor spew his knowledge. He had his lecture, and it makes more sense. It makes more sense now. So yeah,
if I can get this movie a higher score, yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you schooled our young Brent tonight, man, because there is no universe where the Nightmare on Elm Street gets an 8-something ranking out of 10. That's just not right in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Man, if you want to look at Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, okay, I could see an 8, maybe. That's probably still a 9.
Some of the later ones I wouldn't have a problem with, but Part 1,
I've heard the Part 3 is like the best one out of them.
I like Part 3. After Part 3, I don't like they kind of go downhill.
They do. They don't kind of go downhill. They jump off a cliff.
Okay, but my question is, and here's to the viewers of the show that they've seen the other episodes. We know all about Dad, okay? And here's my question. If this movie was made this year, 2025, would you be giving it you would not be giving this a 10 out of 10. You would say how stupid the ending was. You would say how low budget everything was, how cheesy the storyline was.
The ending scene
using practical
is
effects,
very
baby.
stupid. The ending scene is very stupid, but just because the writers were smoking crack when they wrote that last scene, I can't have a 15-second scene ruin an entire movie though. That's just I can't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they screwed up on that last scene. Makes no sense. I don't know what kind of crack they were smoking. But the rest of the movie's gold, man.
If this movie right here had never existed in 1984 and was made in this year, 2025, it would probably be my favorite movie ever because of
the character Freddy, you know?
Yeah. Like look at the concept, okay? It was different than what anything else was being made, yet you still had teenagers that was getting slaughtered, which fit the 1980s horror trope. So it was the best of both worlds. It was so innovative. You know, you had
100% unique.
Slasher. You had a slasher that freaking talked, man. And not only did he talked trash to you while he was killing you. Dude, that was great. That was gold.
Yeah.
You can't get any better than that.
I gave it a 10 out of 10 on this cultural significance. It was just the symbolism. I didn't pick it up until the professor. I listened to the professor's lecture. Okay, I did not pick it up.
I'm glad you were schooled tonight on this podcast, my brother.
That's right. That's right.
All right, guys. Anybody got anything else they want to add? Anybody got anything?
I have said my piece, brother.
All right. Well, hey, from the Remember That crew, my name's Corky. From Daniel, Brent, Bryson, and the missing Cade, we appreciate everybody listening to us, man. Tune in next week as we talk about another movie that we love. But until then, see ya, bye.
See ya, bye.
Bye.
Yo, we rolling deep, let's dive into the fray. Hit that play button, we review every bite. From horror flicks that give you chills at night to games that thrill, yeah, we get it right. Remember that, step back, hold tight. We'll dissect every scare, keep the vibe right. Remember that, we're here to expose the thrills, the chills where the dark wind blows. From pixels on screens to the sound that glows. Join us forever, that's how the story goes. Now let's talk beats, we break down the sound. From underground hits to the mainstream crown. Music that moves, lifts you off the ground. Tune into our rhythm, let the passion rebound. Let's reminisce, before we fight. From underground hits to the mainstream crown. Let's reminisce, every song, every fight. We'll vibe through the shadows, shining our light. Remember that, we're here to expose the thrills, the chills where the dark wind blows. From pixels on screens to the sound that glows. Join us forever, that's how the story goes. So plug in, we're on this ride tonight. Remember that, keeping horror in sight.